running a class on Thursday. What I have them do, and they hate me for it, but what I have them do is one of the participants goes out of the class and stands outside. As soon as they step back in through the door of the hall, we play the yes game. So all I've explained to them is when I say yes, that's a behaviour I want them to do. And so I will have shown the rest of the class that up it comes on the screen that what I want them to do is to touch or pick up the snuffle mat that's on the enrichment table. And so it can take anywhere from between 3 minutes to 10 minutes, depending on who's doing it. And yes, for direction first, and then yes, they get over to the enrichment table eventually, and then they'll try picking up different things, and then eventually they'll get to the snuffle mat. Then we talk about how you change the environment. So what would I do to make it easier? I might put, because we do like about choices of treats. So it's like, do you want chocolate raisins, or do you want Haribo, or do you want, flying saucers? Like, what's that? So we've gone through the whole thing of what's important to that particular trainee, blah, blah, blah. So how we could change it, we then use the training sheets, which I think you've all got. So it's like looking at environment, what could triggers be, blah, blah, blah. And then the result at the end is, yes, they achieved it, but it took a bit longer than it could have. How would we change the environment? So I would move everything off the enrichment table except for the snuffle mat. I might put a line of chocolate raisins. So the dog walks in, the trainee walks in that way. The point being, you get a success in the end. I could lure, that would be a bribe to kind of go, following the treats, and the dog may not learn because it's just following treats. But I could go, hey, here's a glass of wine, walk this way. And you literally just say yes each time they take a step and follow you towards the enrichment table. Once you've got that and you've achieved the behaviour, what I then did was send the trainee out again. She stepped back in. And I sent her out saying, this time it might be the same behaviour, it might be a different behaviour. Sent her out, she came back in, it was for the same behaviour, so it was much quicker. She'd already had prior learning. She ended up very quickly touching the snuffle mat, so I sent her out again, she did it again, sent her out again, did it again. Each time she was doing it, so the first time, every time I said yes, I had to say yes pretty much every step until she got there. And she was getting a chocolate raisin, like she felt sick by the end, but she was getting a chocolate raisin for each one that she did. On the second one, I just really needed to say yes. So to Mark, when she turned towards the enrichment table, I said yes. And then she kept going. And I said yes about halfway. And yes, when she got to the enrichment table. And she got 2 chocolate raisins for the enrichment table. The next time she came in, she turned that way. I said yes, gave her a chocolate raisin. She got another one when she got to the snuffle mat. That was it. I didn't have to say anything in between. By the time the 4th time, she just came in. I didn't have to say anything at all. And as she was walking towards the enrichment table, I said, snuffle mat, because then you name it, because then it's a known behaviour, and then you name it, and she gets rewarded when she does it. So as she touched the snuffle mat, same as everything, yes, chocolate raisin. We did it 2 more times. As she came through the door, I said snuffle mat, and she went straight to it, and got rewarded for both times. And that was just a really clear example for her as to how to build on a behaviour where you get 100% reward for every single tiny step on the way to it, and then how you diminish those treats really, really quickly. You diminish the timing, you diminish the actual the timing of the rewards, and the actual, like, how often you need to use them, the frequency. You diminish it, and then you name that behavior once it's a consolidated behavior. So that could be meeting up, you guys meeting up and being, okay, there's somebody, somebody's already sitting at the coffee table with their dog. You can do that. So it's like, hey, look at me, or we're going to walk towards, or whatever it is. Stop, look at me. Yes, reward. Now go back. You're going to approach again. Dog looks at you. Yes, reward. Go back again. Keep repeating that behavior. So you've got a distraction over here and you're only getting this far. And then you're going away and you're coming back to this far, going away and coming back to this far. Going away, you might go a little bit closer. Go away, you might go a little bit closer. You're just rehearsing that same behaviour. There just happens to be a distraction at the end of it, and so the distance at the beginning might be quite large, and then you're diminishing it. You may never get to having a coffee with that person who's got the dog over here. You may only be able to sit 2 or 3 tables away, in which case phone each other, have an ear pod in, have a chat that way round. Like, you may never get there in that session, but the next time you go to the same environment with the same dog, with the same person, and you go, right, okay, well, how far can you get? Oh, actually, you can get a bit closer. Great. Can we get a little bit closer? Great. So session 2 or 3, you might be at the same table. Does that make sense? So that's how to diminish your rewards but increase behaviour, where you're just repeating. There is nothing wrong with repeating behaviour. If your dog's scared of something, and then, you know, you can go up to it and have a bit of a play, and it's like, ooh, great, go back, walk past it, that's okay. Or if there's food on the floor, you know, you may have the goal where, okay, I'm going to go to Kmart because I know that there's some dinosaur toys and I want to be able to press the dinosaur toys, and then I've got somebody with me who's going to bounce a ball where where the bikes are and all of that, and they're going to bounce a ball in that toy section, and then we're going to go out because we're going to work on that. That's fine, but if you happen to, on the way, somebody's dropped a pork pie on the floor or something ridiculous, suddenly it's going to become a food distraction training session, because that's really valuable. So you would only get, so again, there's your distraction, there's the food on the floor. You may only get, you may not get within 50 meters of it. That's fine, just reward for looking at you, for the stop, pressure, little pressure on the lead, look up at you, yay, brilliant. And as you're giving a reward, you're walking backwards, and then reapproach, stop. So when the dog looks at the food on the floor, stop, dog looks up at you because he's had a little bit of pressure because you've stopped walking, yay, brilliant, back we go. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. Within 4 or 5 approaches, most dogs, not black Labradors, but most dogs will go, and maybe not Reg, to be fair, most dogs will reapproach, and they will start slowing down and looking at you in anticipation of a reward, because they've never been allowed to get near the food that's on the floor. And that's when you can increase your distance towards it, because you're like, yep, that's the behavior I want, that's the behavior I want the whole time. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Go forth and multiply. That's just do that stuff.